All right, coming up next, who we got?
Yeah, I can go.
You want
All
to go,
right, go
Yes,
CP?
ahead.
man.
Go
I need
for
a
it.
headline spot for the fellas. So look, this game, man. Damn, it was 11th grade over Christmas break. I took my Christmas money to was it Funko Land or was it GameStop at that time? Whatever it was, same
EB,
idea, same vibe.
EB Games, maybe?
Um,
Go ahead.
huh?
EB Games, maybe?
I loved EB Games.
EB Games.
EB
Here we go.
Games was dope. I know for a fact EB Games was at the mall, so I wasn't at the mall.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
how EB Games is always in the mall. I feel like Funko's to stand alone or at
Mhm.
least get to like strip mall level, which was like a little bit bossier because there was your car.
Gotcha.
So Shenmue. Shenmue. Now, mind you, I had no idea. Now, at the time, you're talking about I was like 16. I wasn't really into like the role playing games like that. I was playing, I was very immaturely gaming. This game brought me into grown ass man gaming. Excuse my language. I had a Dreamcast, which was one of my favorite systems.
Hard.
I went to get games for it because I was a Sega guy, and I was so happy that Sega was making a strong push, because like the Genesis was black. I felt attached to the Genesis. You know what I'm saying? This game came with 7 discs.
Really?
At the time that this game came out, this was the most expensive game ever made. It was oh bro, this set the tone for the mapping of the Breath of the Wild. And
Right.
it really gave Final Fantasy a lot of competition. Like people were like, "Oh shit!" Like Shenmue was that game. Like, bro, Shenmue Game of the Year, 5 out of 5, 4.9 out of 5. Bro, fight sequences. You would do fight sequences similar to Time Crisis, where it's like tap A at this point. Bro, it was so fun. Like they didn't get the game was so detailed, but they didn't get into that as much as they didn't let that overshadow the fun of the game. 7 discs as a 16-year-old man for this to hold my attention, all 7 discs. Like, bro, I finished this game. It took me a long time to finish it. I love the story. There was times where I made Shenmue references when I saw somebody in a brown leather jacket. In my community, I was very alone. The only reason I got this game was because I was at the store and I was looking for a game to get on Dreamcast, and the dude would not let me leave without this.
What do you mean?
This is the best game on the system. This game, you know how I do this game. I got this, and I got NFL 2K, where you could pick your plays on the screen in the controller, which was next level anyway. Yep. Bottom line, bro, Shenmue, probably,
Good salesman.
Yeah, this really got me into stories and story modes. Like this is like losing your virginity to Tiana Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like this was crazy.
But I know what he's talking about because I played this game. I'm not sure if I'm not sure you, but I actually put a lot of time into this game too. And the all the immersion in the actual keeping a journal and having to get back with certain people and literally to actually progress in the storyline, like they really push that whole, like you're really part of this world. Like you really have to know people, like get a job. Like it got that real to the point that you literally got a job doing I'll never forget, you got a job using a forklift at the dock.
At the dock, yeah.
At the dock.
So he actually do his job and do something. So the fact that it had those little off missions, each fight or each like him at work, it felt like a different game. Like it would go into like a different mode where you're using different motor skills. Bro, this game was amazing. The fights, like this game was such a, you walking through tea gardens with koi fish. It was very slow and peaceful. Then stuff would get real, and you like fast-paced fighting with somebody. And I mean, bro, this game is forever. It has a special place in my heart. And then when I was looking for the artwork for this game, I was ashamed to find out that there are like 6 Shenmues. Like they kept going, which they should have. Yeah, there's more.
Yeah, there's Shenmue. I think the third one just dropped, but yeah, no, it's
embellished.
Yeah, the PS4. They actually dropped Shenmue 1 and 2 on the PS4 now, though, so you can technically play these games now on the PS4. I'm not sure if you know that, TP. If you want to go back and play it, they're back. They're back. They can play. You can play them right now. But I remember the storyline. Obviously, your main player right there is the dude that's getting choked up right now, and these guys show up and pretty much kill his father.
Mm-hmm.
They kill his father. So this is pretty much the beginning of the game right here. And
that's always just for a great story. Somebody comes in and kills your dad right in front of you. That gives you the juice to be a superhero. That right there, that's if you see somebody just kill your dad right there, you can't do nothing about it, and you're right there. At that point, you're hitting the weight room. I don't care what anybody says.
There's a lot of father murking in Asian movies. That's like story writing 101.
Exactly. The father gotta go, no matter what.
They bring you a script like, so when does the father die? Like, this is a love story. Right, but when does the father get
Some dad gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I definitely remember this. This game was like a smooth blockbuster rent. Like, I didn't know it was that long. I did not know it was 7 discs, but I remember playing this just because like Dreamcast games, they didn't drop a lot. But when they did drop, like I loved how they rolled out Dreamcast games. I can't really explain how it was, but something between like the commercial and just how they packaged it, it was almost like a little creepy. It's like there's like a lot of creepiness in the Dreamcast, especially like some of their weirder games, like the fish with the man head. Remember that came out? There was like a game where there was like
it was what's it called? What was his name? Oh man, Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy.
It was, I think the game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Leonard Nimoy was he was the voice actor for that game. You literally made a fish, made a tadpole, it grew up and it became even more of a fish. And I remember that game. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Dreamcast aesthetic was very strange, but I always liked how they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play this one, but I do remember the hype of this coming out because it was $100. And I definitely remember my dad looking at me like, nigga, please. No way. So it was just like, all right, that's fair. And then going to Blockbuster again, bringing that back up, it was always checked out. But then, like, you go to school and like the Asian homies and like the black, your black homies and hung out with the Asian homies. They was like, oh, yeah, nah, you got to be on this. This is, if you ain't on this. And they were just like really like into it, like storyline. Like it was just like how like this was Final Fantasy VII before Final Fantasy VII.
It came out after, but go ahead. Came out after. Yes. Oh yeah.
Was it right after?
Yeah, this was like the alternative to it. This was like their answer to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is when I really got into that. I mean, bro, you're right. This was like it was like a movie. This was so, I think that this broadened the horizons of a lot of young game developers. And, I think this kind of set the tone for real. I think Dreamcast was one of the most underrated systems. I say it all the time.
I agree.
And I even look at their little emblem, which looks almost like hieroglyphic now, that little swirl. Like Dreamcast was something else. It almost feels like alien technology that they gave to us and was like, this will be the system.
Low key they were, because weren't they talking about doing like virtual? Like this is gonna be the first one to like do like virtual reality.
Virtual reality, yeah. I mean, because they had the worlds. They had the worlds. Like the biggest 3D thing we had seen on like 64 was like Bond and like Mario 64. You know what I'm saying? But this had drawers and I mean, it just had shit, bro. They were doing stuff.
They were just ahead of their time though, because they had remember their thick ass memory cards that were digital and they had buttons and you could
that's what I'm talking about. And you could put it into the middle of the controller.
Yep.
Nobody was really feeling that at the time.
It was just, like I said, it was ahead of the time. Like if it had came out now, it'd probably be like a different story. But yeah, man, like Sega was just that. It was just that brand that took all the risk, and everybody was just like, "Oh, I see what you tried to do," and then was able to run their success off of it. So, but shout out to Sega though, because Sega gave us some dope ass memories just like this.
Oh, y'all think Sega could ever come back and be respected? Is it just Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo now?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how somebody else is going to enter the field.
I think there's space. I think there's more space or opportunity for one more.
You got Stadias. I mean,
no, don't bring Stadia. Didn't work. Stadia's not going to work.
It didn't work.
Didn't work.
Here's the thing. It's a combination of what you coming with, because that's why there's always the competition between Xbox and PlayStation. Like Xbox machine wise is the better machine, but game wise, PlayStation is better because they have more games for you to play and more exclusive games for you.
And you could say the same thing about Nintendo.
Xbox machine better.
Their processor, operating system, everything is better. It's made from Microsoft.
Yeah,
So
the Xbox One X, the Xbox One X is the strongest. Is stronger than the PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
Like,
but you don't have no games to play. Like, what I'm gonna do? Use all that power on Forza? Like, I don't fucking care about that. I want to play Spider-Man. I wanna do that with some webs and shit. I can't do that. So
yeah,
that's why PlayStation continues to reign, and Nintendo is just like, nigga, I've been here. I'm here. Y'all here because
Hey, these motherfuckers. I'm sorry.
you good?
These guys turned into the mafia.
Oh yeah,
Like it's like Bloods and Crips, bro. It's like get down with one or the other. That's it. Like you said, Shenmue is on Sony. PS4 is Shenmue on Xbox. At all.
It is. It dropped. It dropped for both. It dropped for both. I mean, but of course, for a long time, it was just Sega. Like they just dropped this maybe last year and a half ago. I think they brought back 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Look at the fight scenes. This is like it turned into a fighting game.
Right. It does. I mean, the fighting scene was pretty good, honestly. Like, of course, at that time, you got to think this is all the way back in.
Oh no, this was great at that time.
At that time, yeah. It doesn't look too great right now because of what we have nowadays. But at that time, hell, this was everything.
This looked great. But I would have just even like to say back on what CP had asked, even Apple tried to come out with their own game console. I think it was called the Pippin or something. But yeah, Apple tried to have their own video game console.
When was this?
This was I want to say the beginning of 2000, maybe in the 90s. You can look it up. I think it's called the Pippin. It was
looks like a virtual fighter.
Video
yeah,
game.
it does have that feel to it. But it's like the rest of the game doesn't even feel like that. Like then after that, you're walking through you know what I'm saying? Like you're drinking oolong tea. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different game, man.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of True Crime LA, how their graphics were.
Right. That's what I'm getting with this scene.
It wasn't it never went into a fighting game, but for sure it kind of
yeah.
And it seemed like every open world game with the mafia has this dock on it, like this exact
one.
Like I feel like I was just there in Grand Theft Auto 3.
Like give me the containers in the back, go ahead and get the wharf coming up, and then some black cars gonna show up and then you gotta go to work.
Yep.
Every time. Every time.
That just made me think of Saints Row and what that could have been.
Oh man.
I never played it though because I was just like, nah, this ain't Grand Theft Auto.
And you knew that.
It was actually fun, dog. You know what I used to do? I made my avatar have my pajamas on because that's what I wore the most while I played it, and I felt so connected. Yeah. Like you could just make your outfit be exactly what you had on. I just fucked with that. I mean, I really rocked with it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Saints Row I think it's a slept-on game too. I think that company might have went out. I think Volition is the one that made it, and they're
supposed to be coming out with another one.
Yeah, I know they dropped Saints Row the third.
Remaking. I don't know.
It feels like once you lose touch with a game, it's hard to get back into you know what I'm saying? Like that's like me picking up in Shenmue 3. I would feel so fake. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
You could go back though. I'm trying to play like older games too.
Yeah, the retro.
I feel like that with Resident Evil, but I was noticing they change everything up every time a new one come out. So I was like, oh, okay. But then I played it and I was like, I don't like this game.
Bro, is anybody playing Last of Us?
Not yet, not the new one, just the first one.
Yeah.
Man, bro, the clickers are so thick.
What?
The clickers.
What?
The clickers are thick in this next version. Because I never played part 1. I just picked it up in part 2 and I just started playing it. I don't get a lot of stuff. I'm just finding out a lot. I don't want to spoil stuff. But the clickers that came from, I guess, part 1, I was like, man, they just seemed like they were thick before they passed away and became thick.
Yeah. You don't think about that.
They have to make a new phrase called thicker than a clicker.
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
Hashtag.
You don't see that.
I have to do it.
Hashtag thicker for a clicker. I'm here for it.
Thicker than a clicker.
Thicker than a clicker.
Woo. You don't think about that though. You don't think about if you ran into that chick that you be looking at on Instagram, if zombies struck and she's a zombie now,
thick zombies.
Thick
yeah,
zombies
she still got that ass though.
Here's what I thought. It's a city like Atlanta, right? It's a great night at Magic City. The virus breaks out right then, right? The reason why they're a different kind of zombies because they were all drunk or high, and then the zombies took over. They became clickers. They're thick though. because they're all Atlanta strippers, and then that's where the epicenter of that particular zombie came from. And so I think that that's what happened, and that's why they're so thick.
That's the origin of the clicker from Last of Us. Okay.
I'm here for thick zombies.
I'm trying to think about it as y'all seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole vampire thing. Remember the whole vampire zombie thing? Yeah. Some of them look pretty thick in that damn bar. I'm just letting you know. Like some of the height look thick. So there's some truth to this.
Remember Marlon put that bag on that girl's head in a Scary Movie?
Hell yeah. He was like, you know what, fuck it.
We in here. All right.
Oh,
yeah.